Good evening. It is Wednesday. It is 8 o'clock. It is Retro Gaming Revival Live. I'm your host for this evening, Triangle Face, Timble Joe. And we have with us this evening the collector, the self-confessed physical media whore, and our resident gaming expert. It's Nintendo Ollie.
Hey, that's a cool intro. I'll take that. Thank you very much. Evening.
How are you doing? Are you feeling better now from your recent COVID experience?
Yes, it was not fun. Didn't enjoy it. Feeling a bit better now, so I might have to mute myself every now and then when I have a bit of a cough. But yeah, we're all good, mate. We're all good.
Good. It's good to see you back on your feet.
Thank you, buddy.
And we also have here, he has more amiibos than the rest of the panel combined, and we're yet to find a box that he can't open with just one hand. It's Blunners.
Yes, I have actually got all of them. Bit too
Have
many.
you actually got all of the amiibos?
I've got every single one. Yeah,
Every
other
single
than there is some limited edition gold Monster Hunter ones that are only in Japan, but I've actually got Monster Hunter ones from Japan, but just not the gold ones.
There we go. Impressive
Yeah,
stuff.
bit of a
Shocking.
crazy
You'll
one.
have to do some videos on those so we can
I wish
see
I hadn't started
your
it.
collection. Yeah,
So
very
you're
impressive.
fully committed now for the rest of eternity.
Yeah.
And welcoming our guest for this evening, he is a new up-and-coming YouTuber and creator of the Facebook group YouTube Connect. It's Tezz Mo.
Hey.
Hello,
Hey.
thanks for joining us.
What's up, guys? What's up? I wouldn't call myself an up-and-coming YouTube creator. I'm
Give it
a
time.
I'm a YouTube creator, but just a little one.
No. Well, it's all good. And what we'll do, can we have a little shout out to some people in the chat? Lots of stuff going on in the chat this evening.
Yeah.
Hello, Paul. Thanks for
Okay,
joining. Paul's a regular with us here. And
Oh,
Goldtooth.
tooth.
Goldtooth.
Gold tooth.
Who else you got this evening? And Ali,
Ali.
16 bits and bobs. Thanks for joining.
What else we got on here? Oh, we've
Got
got
lots of
Elite
people.
Ryan.
Joining us. There's Ryan. Thanks for stopping by.
M&W Games.
Wow, it's a full house tonight.
Full
got,
house
Paul.
indeed.
Dorbs.
And of course,
The
Dorbs.
Dorbs.
There we go. Can't forget about
Still
Dorbs.
Still
Yeah.
going.
Retro Arcade Music Man.
Yeah, just trying to see what else is in it. Oh, there's Rob as well.
Yeah, I've been
And
invited a few.
Rob.
Good
Excellent.
stuff. Yeah, good to see
Everyone
some
is
old
on.
favourites and some new faces. So be sure to check out Tezz's channel if you're new to Tezz's content, and check out our channel if you're new to us. But what we'll do, we'll get started with a few questions we like to ask all of our guests. And the first question of the evening is, what are your early gaming memories? So what got you into gaming, and what are your earliest memories of the gaming hobby?
So, my earliest memories of games, really, it was the Atari 2600. That's the first one that my family actually owned. So it was games like Pac-Man and Frogger. But me and my dad really liked Pitfall. That was the game that really got me into gaming. So Pitfall is the earliest game that I can remember. And then, of course, after that, you kind of went into the Commodore days a bit later on, the VIC-20. And then later a Commodore 64 and all the classics on there. Loved some, I mean, to be fair, it was the Commodore 64 that really got me into it more than anything else. That is my system. I don't own one right now, but that's the one that really got me into gaming with all the games on there. So what did I play? Manic Miners and the Jet Set Willy. You've got to remember Manic Miner and Jet Set Willy.
Yeah.
Then later on it'd be Commando and Arne and shoot 'em ups like R-Type. That were the kind of things I can remember from the Commodore days. And it went on after that. Got Master Systems and Sega Saturns, and it all came from that really into the 8-bit, 16-bit, 32-bit, and then I got a PC. And it's just been gaming ever since, really.
So when you mentioned like the 16-bit and sort of 8-bit era and stuff, you mentioned Master System and that sort of thing. Were you more in like the Sega side of the bit wars, or did you sort of stretch into the Nintendo side as well?
It seemed to me when I was young that there wasn't that many people playing Nintendo as much as there were playing Sega. So
Okay.
a couple of friends of mine had a Sega Mega Drive, and I borrowed one, and it he just gave me the system, so I think it had Alex Kidd on it, and I was like, man, this is okay. I've played similar games to this on the Commodore 64 though, so graphics are a bit nicer, but not much special. But then another friend lent me his, and his had Sonic built in, and I was hooked. As soon as I played Sonic, I thought, this is the new games. This is what it's going to be from now on. So yeah, Sonic, I've got to call out for being brilliant. I didn't go down the Nintendo route, so I didn't experience the Mario side of things.
Yeah, I was very much the same. I was more into my Sonic and stuff, but no, I don't think it was necessarily through choice. I think it was just my brother went for Mega Drive rather than SNES, and then we had a Mega Drive in the house. And then I think you didn't have the thing, didn't you? If you've got mates that have the other consoles, and you just go around each other's houses, and you go around your mate's house that's got a Master System, or your mate's house that's got a NES, and then you have something else. And that's how you kind of get a chance to play stuff. But I think majority of the people in my area tended to have Sega stuff. Rather than I'd imagine you two both had Nintendo, right? Because you're both Nintendo, big Nintendo guys.
Yeah, I'm Nintendo all day, every day.
Yeah, I didn't get. I think the first Sega console I bought was a Dreamcast, and that was when it died. It had gone. It was dying a death. And I think I might have said it on a previous stream. One of the local game shops in the old Bargate in Southampton, I picked up a Dreamcast with Sonic Adventure and Virtua Fighter, Soul Calibur, I think for 20 quid, and it was just people just didn't want them. So that was the first time I ever bought a Sega console. My mates had Mega Drives and Sega Saturns growing up, so I did get to play them, but I was just always a Nintendo kid. I just sort of invested heavily in that until sort of Nintendo 64 sort of era, and then managed to convince my parents that I needed a PlayStation as well at some point. So
yeah, I think as soon as the PlayStation turned up, because I was quite into my Sega console, so then when the PlayStation 1 came along, I never did get around to getting like a Sega Saturn or a Dreamcast, but something I'd like to look into getting now. I think going back and getting old collections of stuff.
Yeah, one of my friends gave me a Sega Saturn like about a few months ago. He just said he just doesn't have any of the cables, couldn't test whether it worked or not. It's just sat in his loft. He's got nothing to go with it. He said, "Oh, you can just have it. If it works, great. You've got a free Sega Saturn. If it doesn't, oh well, gutted. You've got a broken Sega Saturn." Managed to find a cable the other day. I still haven't found a cable to plug it into the telly, but just to power it on, see if it powered on. The green light came on. It's like, hey,
get them dirt cheap, Ollie. Get them on dirt cheap online.
Yeah, I was hoping some of the Mega Drive stuff might work in it, but it doesn't appear to.
No, it doesn't.
I got my N64 out of the loft not long ago when I recently bought the red cart you can get for the N64. So I got my N64 out of the loft and it didn't work, but I managed to get a replacement plug and then managed to get it to work. So it's just the plug that had gone. Yeah, that's the one.
Beauty.
Great bit of kit to go for those.
It's got every game on it.
Is it every game?
Yeah, for like 50 quid.
Yeah, it's pretty good. That's the only one I've gone for, but I think you can get Evercards for all sorts of consoles, can't you? I think you can get one for Mega Drive and SNES and things like that as well.
Yeah, you said did you say you're a Commodore? That's more Dorbs's. He's the Amiga man, isn't he? Out of us.
Yeah, he did shout it out earlier.
Yeah,
he's a big fan of Commodore 64.
So yeah, you'd be in good company there, Tezz, with Mr. Dorbs and the Commodore side of things. I've never played a Commodore 64.
I haven't either.
I just enjoyed the fact that the VIC-20 in the Commodore had a keyboard. I remember going to when they used to have them on display when they were selling them at Tesco's, and people would go up and try them out. And as soon as I started typing things out, a mate of mine said what I should type in: 10 print Tezz is cool, 20 go to 10. And I did that, and I was hooked on computers from that point because you just scrolls up the screen, Tezz is cool, and you just leave it like that. And I was hooked from that point, and I had to have the keyboard type of computer. I'd forgot to mention that I did go into Amiga and owned the Amiga 500, 600, and then later the 1200 as well. So I got through plenty of Amiga games in my time. Yeah. There were so many. And of course, the magazines and so on for the 64 and the Amiga. I used to collect them all the time.
Have you gone for the Amiga Mini that's just recently come out? Is that something that's on your wish list?
Yeah, it is. I've just seen a review of it on Stewart's channel, Stuart Laybourne. What do you guys know him as? Generation Pixel.
Mhm.
And I thought, yeah, I'm going to have one of them for sure.
Yeah, it does look pretty good. I think there's not a huge amount of games on it, but it does look like you can expand them quite easily. You can just add a USB of your stuff on. I'm sure there's videos online of how to get that done.
Yeah,
as
I mean,
well.
I've already got a bunch of Amiga games anyway, so I could play them if I wanted to emulate them.
Yeah, excellent. So moving on then through your games and your consoles, and what do you have a favorite game and a favorite console?
So this is an odd one because 3 of the games that I'm going to choose later for the remasters, they're kind of my favorite games on this particular console, and I'm going to go for the Sega Mega Drive because it was just such a beast. Back in the day, it looked cool. It was cool. You could kick it, you could throw it around, and it wouldn't break. It was such a brilliant system to have. And yeah, of course, it had a better version of Sonic on it, so that's why I went for that. Definitely that. And
I have to admit, the Sonic games on the Mega Drive are excellent, like Sonic 1, 2, and 3, and then Sonic and Knuckles, which are fantastic games. Absolutely brilliant. Yeah,
I won't mention the 3 that I'm going to bring up in the remaster.
No, save them.
That was cannon fodders and stuff like that. I've got a few notes here of stuff that I wanted to mention. Yeah, but definitely the Sega Mega Drive was my favorite system, and the 3 games that are my favorite are on. Actually, 2 of them, sorry, are on the Mega Drive itself, and these are the ones these are the games that I thought I've got heavily into games now. It's got me. So if you want me to name them, I will.
Yeah. Go on.
Go for it.
Okay, so
we could do a bit more of a deep dive into them later when we get onto the remasters, but you can always let us know what they are now.
Sure. So my favorite game of all time on the Mega Drive is Speedball 2. I just love it. It's got that mix of football, like the sensible soccer type thing. I used to love that on the Amiga and the on the Mega Drive. It's got that and the future sport and the brutality that all kids and, well, I say teenagers because I was a teenager at that point, I think. Yeah. That was sort of a bit of violence, yeah. So I love that one. So I would put that down as my favorite game. And my second favorite game is another Bitmap Brothers game. So that would be the Chaos Engine.
Okay. Yeah, we've had that come up a few times on the channel, actually, people mentioning that game. And I'd never played it before, but I have played it now because I had it on a emulator, but it's also on the Evercade cart for Bitmap Brothers. Have you got yourself an Evercade or an Evercade VS at all?
I do not have an Evercade.
Yeah, they've got a Bitmap Brothers cart. It's a bit of an odd choice. I don't think I normally would have got it, but it came with the VS, and the Bitmap collection has got, is it 3 versions of Speedball? They're on there. It's Speedball 1, 2, and 3 are all on the same cart, which I thought was a bit of an odd choice, but it is actually a very good cart. That also comes with Chaos Engine. So anyone looking to play those, that's a good way to pick them up.
Yeah. I mean, Speedball's cool. It reminds me very much of the film like Rollerball. I know they're not on roller skates in Speedball, but yeah, man. Rollerball's a cracking movie. And I've always thought, it's got elements of Speedball in it, or the other way around. I'd have to look up which came first, but yeah, Speedball's great.
I think I was a big fan of the Bitmap Brothers because if you look at a bunch of their games throughout the systems that they're on, they're always quality. All of the Bitmap Brothers games are quality and original, and just the graphics are just clean, crisp, and nice in those games. It showed you what they could do with the system, rather than what people were doing with it, which were a lot of the games just didn't live up to what the system could do, and Bitmap Brothers pushed that.
Yeah, I really enjoy. Was it Magic Pockets? That's a Bitmap Brothers one. That's really good. Where he puts his hand in his pocket, and then the longer you hold it down for, he throws more stuff out. And then you've got.
Dodgy, doesn't
it? It is really good. I think the story is that he's gone inside his pockets, so like you're actually in your own pockets in sort of weird Russian doll situation.
That's a trip and a half.
So he goes inside his own pockets to get. I think he's lost his toys or something. You're going in to find stuff that's lost in your pocket. There's a bunch of creatures in there. It's just a platform game, but it's quite a fun platformer. And then there's Gods as well, was a good one. Although I never had it when I was a kid, I've only recently picked it up for like 79p on the Switch. And there's one where you can flip between the original graphics and like updated graphics. So you
Oh
can-
yeah, see that.
Yeah, I like it with games that are doing that at the moment.
Yeah, for like 79p or whatever it was, I thought it was worth a punt to finally get to play it. But yeah, no, good range games a bit, my brothers.
Yeah,
So
excellent. Yeah,
right.
no, the Mega Drive, it's a system that when I eventually got around to picking one up after I'd sort of started having paychecks and could like afford things and could go back and pick up games that I'd played at friends' houses and all this kind of stuff. It's when I really sort of did fully, I think, appreciate what the Mega Drive was, because growing up it was always Super Nintendo for me. But even now, I'm still picking up Mega Drive games now every now and then that I've never played before. It's a great system. It really
Which
is.
one though? Is it Mega Drive the first one or the second one?
So I've got a Mega Drive 2,
Yeah.
but yeah, I appreciate that there's the actual first Mega Drive is a bit better. It looks.
See,
It
I
looks
like
better.
the chunkiness of the first Mega Drive, and it just looked hardcore and heavy duty.
Yeah,
Yeah.
completely agree.
Was there really much difference between the 1 and 2, other than the 2 just was designed to look nicer next to the CD? Because you had the Sega CD, didn't they? That tacked on the side.
Yeah, there's 2 different CDs.
Was there actually anything else different between the consoles other than the actual look of them?
The person that would probably know is Ali. Ali 60
will know.
Bobs.
Yeah.
I've got a feeling there is something about the Mega Drive 1 and 2 that there's something to do with the insides that is slightly different in the Mega Drive 2 isn't quite as quick at processing things, or it's something like that. The Mega Drive 1 is the definitive one to get, I think. But yeah, if anyone does know, chuck it in the chat.
Yeah, I'm sure it might have been something as well as cost as well. I think the Mega Drive 2 was cheaper to manufacture. I'm not 100% on that. Oh, Ryan knows the difference, he says. He says
Well, yeah,
Mega Drive 2 is smaller.
We know it's smaller. I think beyond that, is there anything else? I did get my Mega Drive games out of the loft recently because I was going through some stuff. I was like, I'll just go look at my Mega Drive games. And I was thinking, I had more than this, didn't I? And I got them all out and played them out on the floor. I was like, there's not that many here. And it dawned on me that a lot of the Mega Drive games that I played that I really enjoyed, I rented. Because it was just during that period of life where I couldn't really afford to buy loads of games. So I'd rent them from Blockbuster all the time or borrow them from mates. I had this collection on the floor. It's quite depressing when I was like, oh, I didn't actually own quite a few games that I thought I did. I just rented them. So that was a bit of a...
Sorry, guys. Can I just add? I've seen an interesting question in the chat. It's from Retro Arcade Music Man, and he says, "Would you connect your favourite game with the time period of your lives?" Yes, that. So that's an interesting question.
Yeah.
Let's throw that to you, Tezz.
We talked about the Sonic games earlier on. For me, that was just at the same time my kids were getting to be about 3 or 4 years old, so they were wide-eyed watching me play this, and I was a hero to them in their eyes because I could complete Sonic. So yeah, that's another reason why the Master System and the Mega Drive days are my favorite days of gaming. I got to have tournaments with the kids, Street Fighter tournaments, Mortal Kombat tournaments with the kids, and they were both lads, so we've all grown up gamers because of it.
I would completely agree. I mean, my favorite game, I've said it many times, my favorite game of all time is Final Fantasy VII, and that I played that possibly the year after it came out. So it came out in '97. I think I must have played it sometime in '98. So I must have been.
See, that's my son's favorite game. He played Final Fantasy VII, and he's been hooked ever since. And I swear he spent thousands of pounds on it. He's even been to Japan to pick stuff up.
It's pretty good. It's one of those games. It's the first time I ever played a proper RPG. Well, it was the first time I played a full RPG, and it just blew my mind. The story, everything just totally blew my mind. But that particular era of gaming, that N64, PS1, that kind of era for me is probably is my favorite era of gaming. Gaming was just an absolute junction. Like things had just gone. That jump from Super Nintendo to Nintendo 64 and PlayStation 1 was just, oh my god, it was just such a leap.
Crazy.
Yeah, you had the Dreamcast in the middle of that as well, which
Yeah.
wasn't doing bad. Yeah, the Sega Saturn and the Dreamcast, along with the PlayStation a bit later, brought graphics in a way that I thought gaming's changed now. It looks serious.
Yeah.
It was a huge jump, wasn't it? When you first got on a N64 or PS1, it was just amazing. And I would completely echo what Ollie said. I was exactly saying my favourite game growing up was Final Fantasy VII. It was the first RPG that I played. Just came out at that time, we know that big jump. And I went back and played some of the earlier ones afterwards, once I sort of discovered the franchise. But that experience playing that game compared to the previous generation of like the Sonic the Hedgehog games, which were great for that era, then playing something like that and having this huge story and all these mechanics in the game was just massive jump. But I was just I looked at something earlier that you mentioned. Final Fantasy VII came out in 1997, and looking at it's one of the best years for game releases was the year before 1996. And just listen to some of these. All these games came out in 1996. We've got Mario 64, Tomb Raider, Resident Evil, Pokemon Red and Pokemon Blue, Mario Kart, Crash Bandicoot, and the list goes on. Like
Mario Kart
just
64.
from those. Mario Kart 64. All of those games came out that year. What a year for gaming that is.
Wow.
That's just crazy. It's got a few other ones. There's quite a lot of games released there. Those ones are the ones that sort of really stand out. But there's a few other sort of heavy hitters in there as well. Nights into Dreams. There's a few duds in there too. We've got Wipeout 2097 as well. That was a really good one.
That was great.
Mega Man 8.
Oh, I love the Wipeout.
That was a crazy year for games. It really was.
That's insane.
Anything else?
So I told you we end up going off.
PUBG 3D. Perhaps that didn't really live up to the rest of them.
There's one of your duds.
There is a few duds in there, but yeah, Mario 64, Crash Bandicoot, Resident Evil, Tomb Raider, and Pokemon all in the same year. Crazy. Apart from Pokemon and Final Fantasy VII, thanks, Dorbs.
Pokemon was amazing. Unbelievable.
Yeah, I did really enjoy the Pokemon games when I was at school because we had the link cable. I can always remember I had one version of Pokemon. A friend of mine had the other version. I can't remember which one I had because I've got both of them now, but I must have had red and he had blue or something. And we'd go away and play Pokemon over the weekend and come back Monday morning and have a battle. And we wouldn't have finished the game by then. So it'd always be you wouldn't know how much the other person had played. We'd both try and play it loads over the weekend to make sure we're a higher level than each other. So that was always those tense battles of like just connecting up. All right, I'm like level 30. He could come out level 20 or come out level 40. You just don't know. That's the best way to experience that game is to play it with someone else in tandem and meet up days and play each other.
I'd rather play with Traffic than play Final Fantasy VII.
Dorbs just doesn't like it.
He really doesn't like it, does he? He doesn't like that game.
That just makes me like it more.
It does get held up to quite a bit of criticism now, I think, because it is praised so much. Because loads of people will say it's their favourite game. It's got the best soundtrack, best story, things like that. So it does get overhyped, I think.
People spend a lot of money on Final Fantasy. I mean, I was just talking about my son. And you talk about the soundtrack. He went to the Albert Hall to see them perform live.
Wow.
The Japanese symphonic orchestra. Crazy amounts of money is spent on these games. Crazy amounts of money.
It is.
What does he think of the redo?
Pardon, say that again.
What does he think of the remake?
He doesn't like it as much. He says it just doesn't bring it back from him. Although he's got it, and then he's got an extended version, and he's got the book that goes with it. He's got everything. He's got it on Steam. He's got the physical copies. He has books about. He's just crazy. He has the Funko Pops. He has the figures. He just went mad with Final Fantasy stuff, and of course, then on to things like Pokemon and stuff like that. He's just a proper nerd. But I built him. I made him. He comes from the old Mega Drive and Master System days. That's what he comes from.
Yeah,
I agree with Ali. I really enjoyed the remake. The remake was it was cool. You don't make it. I mean, spoiler alert: the game's been out a while, so you don't make it out of Midgar, or you get to basically the part where you would leave Midgar and go into the world map, and that's literally all the game is up to that point. But there's some cool twists and turns in it. It's not just straight remake.
I did enjoy it. It is good, but it's not the same as the original, is it? Well, the thing is, in a way, that's good because they have changed it up and they made it completely different. But if I had a choice to replay that or replay the original, I'd replay the original again, I think, just because I prefer that battle system and the full story.
Yes, I would agree. But
Yeah.
yeah, my favorite game on the PS4 era, that entire generation, was the Final Fantasy VII remake.
Wow.
Yeah, I feel like I should drag my son in there for you guys to interview him. He'd probably know much more about Final Fantasy than I ever would.
I don't know.
Well, let's we'll move swiftly on from our most recent tangent, and we'll talk a little bit about your YouTube. So you started a YouTube channel. Tezz made this. Let us know what made you decide to start a YouTube channel and what sort of content you have on there.
Well, it started back in, I would say, October last year. Unfortunately for me, I lost my dad in August, and I got quite depressed and sat around procrastinating about what to do. And I just thought, I've got some games. I'm going to make a YouTube channel. It will be fun. And I thought, I'll have a crack at it. If nobody's interested, then I'll just do it in the background and play games and just not talk to anybody. Well, then all of a sudden, after a month of playing, a month of playing YouTube, as I'd call it, people started to become interested and started talking to me, and it just blew up. In what, 5 months, 6 months, it's blown up to now I know hundreds of people. All of a sudden. Well, that's the reason why I made it. I made it because I needed something to do, something to get out of the rut in life that I was in. I needed a hobby, and this was the one that I created for myself, and I'm enjoying it. It's been good fun, and it's part of the reason why I created the YouTube Connect Facebook page as well.
Yeah, I watched one of your videos of you're looking at doing some score challenges, and I think you put a score challenge up for Sonic Spinball, which I've never really played. I've tried it, but I've never really sat down and actually played the game. I was, now's a good enough time as any excuse to play that game and give it a proper go. And then I saw your video of you playing it, and I was like, yeah, there's no. You cleared the whole level, got Chaos Emeralds, and so I was like, yeah, I can't get past the first section. I saw in that video parts of that game I've never seen before. So yeah, also very good at the games you play, because I could not get anywhere near as far as you did on Sonic Spinball. So I don't think I even posted my score because it was nowhere near what you managed to get on that run through.
Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, I've watched a few of yours, and I find you do interact really well with your comments. You have good banter with everyone, and I think I jumped in when there was a quiz one time. And yeah, it was actually really good. You were like playing the first couple of seconds of a game, and everyone like having to try and jump in and guess what he was playing. But yeah, it was good. I quite enjoyed it.
Yeah, I plan on doing more things like that. I mean, you asked me what kind of content I was doing on my channel, and originally I thought, well, I'm just going to see where it goes. I've got some games, and I want to do some quizzes. So in my early YouTube time, I made a few quizzes, reeled a few people and subscribers in that way, and then made a few game videos as well. And I found that the gaming community were responding better to me. And obviously you go with what's responding better. So that's the community that I found myself getting into. And like I say, that all blew up since just after Christmas, that did. Yeah.
I mean, it's,
that's my content now.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sorry to hear that all, that the initial stuff happened. I mean, that's obviously very sad. But I'm overjoyed that you managed to find this and find all the people that you found and found this community. I mean, we're still relatively new to the retro gaming community ourselves. We're still trying to find our feet and where we fit into it. But the one thing that we have found by and large is it's a really fun, very happy place filled with people that are just willing to talk games, talk channel stuff. If there's ever any problems that you've got, or you want to just sort of shoot ideas with people are always willing to sort of talk about it. So I'm really glad that you've found it, and I'm really glad that you're here with us, and that hopefully we'll be able to make some more stuff with you as well. So that's great.
As I'm going on and meeting new people and getting on people's streams and taking part and participating. I'm learning more myself how to run the programs in the background, the studio, etc. Every day I'm adding something new to my repertoire, as you'd call it, for the channel, and hopefully with a bit more structure and a bit more time spent on it, it'll get a little bit better. But I mean, I get no illusions that my YouTube channel is going to be big. That's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the community aspect of it for my time. That's what I'm looking for.
I think that's an important thing when you're doing a YouTube channel. So know what is it you're trying to do it for, and you know, make sure you're getting out of it, getting out of it, and enjoying it. Isn't it really? Because it's definitely been it's a marathon, not a sprint. You're not going to blow up straight away, so you have to enjoy making those early videos, because you might make a video that only gets a handful of views, and you need to make sure you're not discouraged by that. You have to enjoy the process of making it and putting it out there, because if you're doing it just to get a high number of views, you're going to get discouraged early on. I think you need to sort of just enjoy the process, enjoy the journey of it, and then, you know, if it's successful and it builds and you get a lot of views later on, that's great. But it's not something you have to get immediately. And also, I've found as well doing it that you don't have to go straight in making videos the quality of people that you want to emulate. You might say a YouTube content creator makes a really good video, and you think, oh, I want to make videos like that. When you start, you just need to make a video and just give it a try, and then try something else, and build up. And then, you know, then maybe like 1 month you buy a slightly better microphone, and then 1 month you might be like, you know what, I might buy like I recently bought one of those ring light things, so my lighting was always bad. But you don't have to go out and buy all that stuff day one and have like the best software, the best camera, the best microphone, all that sort of stuff, because you can make a decent video with a lot of the free software and just a cheap headset and things like that. Make some basic videos, learn what you like doing, and then you know what to invest in more. Because you don't want to go out and invest loads of money and then find out actually you don't quite like making videos, and then you've wasted it all.
You're right, really. You start off small, and the early days of YouTube can be immensely brutal when you've made a video and you've only got 3 views, and in 7 days later it's 4, and then it's possibly 7, and you're begging people to watch it at that point. It's horrible. It's not until you've built the network of people that people come and watch it over and over again. There's no point expecting the world to come to you. For a small YouTuber, you've got to go to the world and say, hey, I'm here. If you want to see me, I'm here. And that's what Tezz Made This does. And it's a journey. So you start off little, you make all your mistakes, and you put them out there for everybody to see. So you can show all the people that are trying to do a similar thing that, yeah, you're starting out small now, but later on you're going to have 50 subs, then you're going to have 75. And like me, you're going to have 100 in a few months if you just keep networking, keep talking to people, keep interacting with people on your channel. It's going to be good. As long as you're not making absolute rubbish videos, obviously you've got to give people something.
Yeah, but there's the thing I find with the various sort of content creators that I tend to enjoy is I actually gravitate to people that are just sort of like themselves. There's no sort of real character. There's, you know, there are some that have got great production value. You know, of course, you know, I enjoy, you know, Angry Video Game Nerd and that kind of thing. And there's you know, he's got, you know, albeit it's bad production value, it's that good bad. It's deliberately done to be a particular way. But even some of the videos on that Cinemassacre do, where it's just, you know, they're just chatting about old movies. There's nothing special about the video at all. It's not edited in a crazy way. There's no silly backgrounds or, you know, I don't know, crazy intros with loads of CG effects and stuff. It's just, but the content is great, and I think that's what it always comes down to. I think people can spot someone that's just doing it to try and be popular and that kind of thing. And those channels don't tend to. I don't think they tend to blow up. I tend to think the people that really do well on, certainly in YouTube, are the people that are just genuine, and you know, and that's people can spot that a mile off. You know, I think everyone is relatively smart when it comes to this sort of stuff. So, but it's just great fun. You know, this is, since doing RGR with the boys, it's brought me immense happiness. You know, especially during the lockdown period, which has not been, you know, particularly kind to me, and it's been great, and I love it, and I've made some great friends throughout this. So yeah, I think everything. I just echo everything that everyone said. Gosh, it's like a big hug, this one, isn't it?
And I think
Yeah,
when we
it is great,
started, when we started, you said, "Oh, you're on 99 subs."
Yeah.
It looks like Paul just said have a sub, so he might be your 100th subscriber. So
Might just be the 100th subscriber.
Might be the 100th one. Excellent stuff.
I can
But
have
no, I
that.
completely agree with what I used to do YouTube
Well,
by
I've got you on
myself
now.
a few years ago, which is really what got me chatting to the rest of the team initially. And I was just doing it for fun. I didn't really get a huge amount of views and things like that because I wasn't doing the networking part. And it wasn't until joining Retro Game Revival and having guests on and seeing other channels and finding other content creators, people like 16 Bits and Bobs came on our channel, and he brings out brilliant content, hilarious stuff. He's got his Games Master skit that we got involved in. That's brilliant.
Love
He's
16 Bits and Bobs.
Yeah,
he cracks me up. I'm on the
so
floor.
much energy.
My wife, I was watching one of his videos the other day. My wife walked in, and it's the one where he starts it off in the shower or he's in the bath. My missus walked in. She goes, "Is that dude naked? What's going on?" It cracks me up. I love that dude.
Excellent stuff. He puts really good content out there. But speaking of communities and getting to know other people and content creators, you also then started your YouTube Connect Facebook group. So tell us a little bit about why you started YouTube Connect and how that's going.
Well, I started YouTube Connect Facebook group because I've got to turn this thing off a minute. Once you can hear yourself echoing else. Okay. I started YouTube Connect on Facebook because I looked when I started my initial channel. When I started the channel, I looked around on Facebook to see if there was anything that could help me as a small YouTuber. I didn't want to be mixed in with all the big YouTubers. I didn't want to be competing with bigger YouTubers. I wanted to be in that little bit of YouTubers that's under 1,000 subs. I wanted to know what they were doing. I wanted to know how they were getting subs, how they were networking, and I couldn't get the information that I needed because every group that I joined, all that people were interested in was, "Oh, you sub to me, I'll sub to you," and that doesn't interest me because I'm not. If you've got a vlog about shoes, I'm not gonna. I don't care. I'm not gonna sub to it whether you're gonna sub to me or not. So that's just a wasted sub, and you're never gonna watch my channel because I do retro games and you like shoes. So you're never going to watch mine. It's just going to mess up my algorithm just by having you around. So I thought I'm going to create a place where I can tell people that they don't need to subscribe. They just need to interact and network with people. That's the best. And if people like your stuff eventually, then they'll sub and they'll come back. If they don't, then you've not captured them. You're not going to capture everybody. Some people are just not going to like your stuff. Some people won't. Some people's channels won't get that big. You've got to think with a small YouTuber mentality, and that's what YouTube Connect is. People come there and they post their stuff, whether they've got 10 subs or 500 subs or 1,000 or more. And I will promote them by watching their videos, giving them any advice that I can that I found through watching everybody's videos and traveling the YouTube network and looking at stuff and reading stuff. So I'll try to give them some. I mean, it's not expert advice. If it was expert advice, I'd have a big YouTube channel. My expert advice is network, talk to other people. That's what's going to help your channel. Collaboration with other people is going to help your channel. Getting friends in your niche is going to help you and your channel. You can't just sit there and sit back and think that people are going to come, because unfortunately they won't, because you're not going to have a viral video. You're not going to be that guy ever. So yeah, start off small, come to YouTube Connect. And if you do get big, then you can come back and say, Tezz helped us get big. Tezz helped us initially. And that might get me a few subs and a few more people in YouTube Connect.
Yeah, and I definitely see from the group that you've got you're building up slowly and then having a community. And I've seen you do things like you highlight a video for the week, or I think you've got a segment where you say, "Oh, what's a video you're proud of?" Like a Throwback Thursday, where you're getting somebody to post like an old video that they did before. And there's different themes and different conversations. There's a lot more conversation in the group that I see in some other YouTube groups. And I won't sort of name and shame other YouTube groups on Facebook, but I mean, I've sort of looked at a few to see what other people are doing and see what's going on. And a lot of YouTube groups are just, "Hey, watch my video. no, watch my video, hey, watch my video, and no one's actually conversing or having a conversation. It's just people posting their videos so they get
That's right.
views.
And
And it's like,
unfortunately,
there's no conversation around it. They're saying, oh,
that's
here's a
right.
video I did. I learned this from doing this video. I recommended this software. There's none of that. It's just watch my video. And where you've got
Exactly.
YouTube Connect, it's
helps
definitely got
to
more of a
promote.
community vibe.
Yeah, it helps to promote. It really does. You've got to promote yourself. You can't just drop a video and say, "Yeah, guys, watch that," and then just go, and then come back later and expect 100 people to have watched it. It's not going to happen, mate. It's just not going to happen. You've got to sell yourself first, and then maybe some of those people will come and watch it. And if you post your stuff, they might come and watch it. They're just not got time. People haven't got the time to just watch videos they know nothing about. You've got to sell yourself a little bit first. Just dropping a video and running off is not going to help. Being there and talking to people, asking questions, delivering answers that other people, when they're asking questions, that's what we want. A group of people that can all help each other out. And I've got to say, it's just turned out brilliant there. I didn't think we'd get more than 50 people in, to be honest. I thought we'd be a little tight-knit group of 50 people, roughly. But then one or two members came in, and I won't mention names. I think they know who they are, but they obviously sent it to everybody on their friends list and went, this group's quite chill and cool. Come and drop your stuff here if you like. And they came. I've got to say about 60 odd people came in about the space of 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's a great little group, and I think the idea behind it is also really good. I know that Tim's mentioned there that it's just a great place to go to kind of just share advice, share things that might have worked that didn't work, or if somebody does pop a video up and says, "Oh, people could take a look at this?" Because I've seen a couple in there. This is one of my first videos. Can people take a look? Tell me what you think. That's people actively seeking like some sort of constructive conversation about what the
feedback.
Really, yeah, exactly, but without being like oh yeah, it's crap, mate. There's a actively seeking like, oh, this bit worked really well, but maybe if you use this piece of software for this bit, it will just sort of polish it up a bit more. It's free, or this is where you get it from. If you need a hand on how to use it, I'll help you. I think the group idea is brilliant. It's really, really good, because it's the one thing that you can't really go out there and necessarily find all the time, because generally speaking, a lot of people, if they find a formula that works, they don't tend to want to share it because it's working. It's my formula. I don't want to share that with other people. Whereas we're, to be fair, we very rarely get people ask us what we do, because all we do is live streams. But every now and then someone has said to us, oh, how does this bit work on this particular thing, and we'll just sort of tell them, well, this is how this works, this is what you click to do this, because it's what's the fun in just keeping it all for yourself? But yeah, so I really like the group, dude. I think it's a great idea, and I hope it continues to grow even more. I hope more people find it, as they should do, and people use it for its full potential, because it's fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, I just want it to be a resource place for us guys that do this sort of thing, and a friendly place to chill and chat. Like you say, we have different like sort of daily events, the Watch It Wednesdays and the Throwback Thursdays. So I might change them up at any point. I'm always injecting a little bit of humor on a Saturday, and there's a few people that Saturday's like you can just post memes and stuff if you want on Saturday. It's up to you. So we want a bit of everything. I don't come down hard on people for posting a meme like in some of the groups. I just let it all be chill, and everybody just. I've had one problem in all this time since the start of the year, just one person that I've had to ban from the group. So that's been brilliant.
Yeah, I think that's the thing with groups, especially is we don't have a huge number in our group, but the group kind of takes care of itself. We've set certain keywords that we would want to be aware of. So should somebody be obnoxious or say something, there's a very high chance we're gonna catch it. But yeah, by and large, as long as no one's attacking someone's protected characteristic or anything like that, and everyone's just being really like just generally nice with each other, then yeah, what's the harm in any of it? As long as everyone's being cool about it, you're all good.
Well, everybody in the group seems to be going like that. Everybody is super chill. Like I said, I've had one problem, but everybody else is fine. There's never been any trouble really. There's been a heated situation once, but that's it. It didn't go beyond that, and everybody was cool with everything. And if you came into the group now and you started to behave like a bit of a jackass, you'd get found out really quickly. People would be like, "Hey, what's going on here?" Because it's not the vibe of the place. The vibe is chilled and relaxed. So when somebody comes in and starts messing about, it's instantly obvious that they're messing about.
Yeah.
And you talk about the like getting feedback from people and stuff. I can't remember who it was. I think it's just somebody in our group that mentioned it. We got some feedback about thumbnails, but it was really good because it was constructive. Because it didn't just say you need better thumbnails. It's like, oh, your thumbnails are good, but there's too much text on it. You need to have less text to read because it's hard to see it. And also, they all look the same. You need some variation because you have different types of videos. So it's something to actually take away and do something with. So they didn't actually went through and change a lot of the thumbnails to have like different ones. So if we have a YouTuber on, there's one thumbnail. If we have like a games industry person, it's a different one, and made it so the text was bigger. And so it's actually constructive feedback. So things like that are really helpful because somebody could have quite easily just gone, don't like your thumbnails. But instead of saying that, they said, oh, your thumbnails would be better if you did this differently. And now, like, when you learn that, you then share it with other people.
Exactly. We have people on the channel that will advise you about your thumbnails. We have I'd say three tiers of people that do YouTube. We have people like me and a lot of the people on YouTube Connect that are just throwing YouTube videos up. We don't expect monetization. We're not selling t-shirts, or we're not yet anyway. But then you've got the second tier of people that are thinking they've gone over that 1,000 mark. They are slightly monetized. They could make some money. And now they're thinking, oh, I'd really like to make some money out of this. And they are becoming more professional, and they would like to know how to hit more people, how to get the algorithm working, how to make the thumbnails work as well as they can possibly work. There is that tier of people. And then there's the ones that just want monetized. They're the ones that want to take their channel from A to monetized as quickly as possible. They're the hardest sort of people to cater for because it rarely happens. You really have to be special to do that. But we're number 1 and 2. We're in that category. We're even not that big and don't want to be that big, or we're in that other category where we'd like to be big, but no, we're not going to be really, really big.
I think when we were chatting with Stevie Ward, who is a community builder and involved in Games Master, I sort of said to her, what would you recommend for us as a group? Because she's a community builder. I was like, we're trying to build a bit of a community. What would be your advice on what we did? And we were chatting once we went off the live, and she summarised it really well for me. It's like, yeah, I kind of really get that. She said, well, you need to decide if you're a band. Are you a band that really wants to sign a record deal? And do you then want to therefore create music that's going to appeal to a record company to kind of get signed? Or are you a band that likes playing the local pubs and will just maybe sell a few t-shirts, some CDs at the bar, and just like have fun playing music? And I was like, yeah, I'm actually, in that analogy, happy being just in a band that enjoys playing music and getting out there and doing it. If you get discovered by a record company on the way, then great, but you're not doing it specifically with that goal in mind.
Exactly. You've got the higher tier then, where the next step is what you do for fun then becomes your job and your main income, and that's what some YouTubers are going for. They think that you can live from the money that you get from YouTube. It's very difficult.
Very hard to do that these days. I think anyone that does that is well established. I mean, if we were going for that, we've picked the wrong subject, I think, because gaming, especially retro gaming, is very saturated. There's loads of people that like making retro gaming videos. So
it's very difficult to make enough money on YouTube to be able to live on it. I mean, you've got to be selling mugs and t-shirts and have sponsors and all sorts of stuff. So you better make sure that you're on every day, getting those subs every day. YouTube Connect is only going to be able to help you a little bit in all that. We're not going to be able to make you a big channel. Sorry.
Yeah, it's like, if my brother's got a massive he's like massive into strongman stuff, and he also like leaks all the results and stuff. So he's got a massive following, and he tells me he has to do a video every 2 days just to keep content coming. And he's like, he'll be there for hours just editing stuff, like just for like a 10-minute video.
That's it. It's your job. It's your job.
Yeah, but that's the problem, is that he's got a full-time job as well. So he says he comes home and he just spends. But he says he doesn't want to. I don't even know if he wants to do it as his full-time job, but like just by getting. 'Cause I think he was friends with Eddie Hall once, and then now Eddie Hall hates him, and it's all like it's crazy because he's like it's getting a following through that, and it's like he's saying he's get to the point now where it's not become fun anymore because it's constantly I've got to churn stuff out, and that's when it's the kind of thing like is it worth doing?
That's right. Is it fun at that point?
Mm.
Is it
I
fun
suppose it's more
anymore?
if you make a bit of money doing it, it's something then you can invest back into it. So rather, yeah, Ryan said we're going to split it 5 ways.
Five ways.
So I think if we ever did make any money from it, I'd imagine we would invest that back into Retro Game Revival and put it
Yeah.
towards
You see,
competitions or
what I
events and things
call-
like that. We wouldn't actually gain anything from that personally. It'd probably be put back into the group, wouldn't it? And we would then
Yeah,
invest it.
you're right.
Yeah.
It is. That's the advice that I would give, that there is a possibility of making a small amount of money on YouTube. Just temper your expectations a little bit because you're not going to be a millionaire. I mean,
Yeah.
they see all these PewDiePies and other guys like that, and they've got mansions, and they're thinking that they're aspiring to just a little slice of that. But you won't even get a little slice of that. You'll get like not even a fifth of a percentage point on that. Nothing.
I think sometimes it's you've got to be, in order to make money from a social media, because I mean that's what it is really. In order to make money from a social media platform, you've got to be in it at almost at its inception. So people like PewDiePie, Markiplier,
They've been
all
doing
these
it for a
people,
long time.
They have, but they were doing it before. I think you could make real money out of it. So they already had this big following. They had all this stuff going, and then it just so happened that YouTube kind of was like, well, actually, we could make a load of money out of this, and we could give that to the creators. Admittedly, that YouTube takes the bigger cut, of course they do. But when you've got someone like PewDiePie, who's like, I can't remember if he is the most subscribed to person on YouTube. But when you've got that kind of audience and you put out a video, 3 times a week, and you're guaranteed that each video is going to hit a million views, by the end.
Yeah,
of
and
the
you're going to
day
have the
that you release
sponsorship
it,
to go with that.
It's already going to be making big money, and then other people will in turn give you things, pay for you to advertise their and it becomes its own industry. But in order to do that, you kind of got to be there at the inception. If you come in halfway through, you might be able to catch up, but YouTube has been going for so long now. Monetization of YouTube's been going for so long now that in order to get to the big leagues now, you've got to be doing something real special that a lot of people will connect with very quickly. And
you're right, and a lot of people don't appreciate that those channels are not usually run by just one person. It's a team of people doing it, the research behind it, and then that person just hosts the particular video. And we don't have unpaid interns, so we can't do that as much as we'd like one. So I mean, that's the message on YouTube Connect, that there is a possibility that you could make a little bit of pocket money to fund your YouTube channel, to get you a better camera, to get you better lights, microphones, etc., or to get you extra software, or to help buy the games that you're on the search for, because there's a lot of collectors. There's a possibility of that. There's a chance that you could make a couple £100, definitely.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, brilliant. I think
and you wouldn't have to turn it into your job to make it a couple £100. You just need to make sure you've got like a fair bit of content and enough subscribers at the end of the day. I mean, I wouldn't know how many subscribers that would be, but you're talking like a fair few thousand to bring in that type of money.
I think so. I think I'd say it needs to be into the high tens of thousands to be bringing in a couple of hundred a month. I think
it also depends on, like I said, I think my brother was close to £1,000, and he was on about 50,000. I think he's on about 75 now. But it was he'd just been done over because he had that 4 Eddie fight, that 4 and Eddie had a fight, didn't they? Mm-hmm. They sent him some footage and he's put it up, and then they've ended up saying that it was copyrighted. So now this whole month he's been done, so he can't get anything.
So it just gets messy.
Yes, then it just gets messy when you start getting higher up. Everyone thinks, is it worth it?
Also, with the message that we have on YouTube Connect, I mean, we don't often talk about the monetary side of things because none of us are getting that far at this time because we're small YouTubers. And the message is it's still fun. You can still have fun doing it. You don't need money to have fun. As long as you've got an internet connection and maybe a phone and a few accounts, you can sign up for stuff. You can be online and uploading and streaming in minutes. It's just a bit of fun. And that's how it is for a lot of us.
Yeah, definitely.
We just have to accept that that's all our channels are going to ever aspire to, is the community and the fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
Agreed.
Right, we'll move on to our last topic of the evening. As we did tease this earlier, we've got the Waller's remasters. So, as we've introduced from friend of the show, Rick Waller, he wanted to do some remasters, and yeah, it's now become a permanent segment on the show. So, let us know what 3 games your picks that you think deserve a remaster and deserve a bit of a comeback.
Well, I mentioned 2 of them earlier on, which were the Speedball 2 and the Chaos Engine by the Bitmap Brothers. What was the third one? The third one was Barbarian. Now, I can't remember whether it was on the Commodore 64. I think it was.
I think it was, yeah.
Yeah,
I looked it up before the
I
show.
had Barbarian. That was my first real favourite game. Being able to chop people's heads off was just, you know, yeah, Barbarian. That was my first.
Let's put some of your things out there on the screen. You've got Speedball 2.
Yeah, Speedball 2. That was my favourite game on the Mega Drive. Along Chaos Engine, I put that as another top Mega Drive game amongst my favourites of all time. And then from a bit earlier, I'd go for Barbarian, which was remastered for the Amiga. I don't know when the latest remaster was of it though, but I think all three of them I'd happily play as a remastered version on Steam. Akin to, I don't know if you guys have played Alien Breed on Steam. There's a updated version.
No, I've played the original one, but I've not played an updated one. So
there's a bunch of the original ones on Steam. Sorry, from the 90s, 92. There's Alien Breed, and there's Alien Breed Tower Assault and Alien Breed 2. And there's loads of special editions as well. But yeah, I used to love those games. It came out around the time of the Alien movies, like, so you thought that you play it in the dark, brilliant. One of the early atmospheric games. So yeah, but these 3 are the ones that I'm choosing: Barbarian, Chaos Engine, and Speedball 2.
I think this might be the first time Barbarian's been mentioned.
Barbarian or Barbarian 2, Wolf from Gladiators is on the front cover.
I think, yeah, the reason why I chose Barbarian is because when I was young, we had it, and you'd have mates around your house for competitions, and if you got really good at it, you could proper shame your mates. If you chop their head off, like, that's it. You were done. You were out of here. It was a bragging rights sort of game. You could go around the street saying that you were champion for the day.
So what was it? Because I've never played Barbarian. So was it like a competitive game then? Do you fight against each other?
Yeah, you're a barbarian, and you've got a sword, and there's a bit of sword play, and you can roll around on the floor. And if you get it just right and swing round the back of you with your sword, you can take the opponent's head clean off, and they just fall to the knees.
Nice.
And you just feel so great when you've done that. It's so satisfying, especially if it's like your friend and he's right there in front of you, gutted. Because you've been playing it all night and practicing, and you invite him around just to get mullered every time like he plays. Just so
is it sort of like
on his face?
Is it like just as it appears there on the screen there? So it's just like a side-scrolling fighting game. So the two of you just battle to the death like that.
That's right. You're in an arena of one type or another. That's one of them. I think that's the main boss arena at the end. You fight so many different barbarians, and they've all got different coloured bottoms on. You go a few levels up, and but if you can chop the head off, it's instant win.
Beautiful.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Do you know, it reminds me of the game. I was always into sort of Street Fighter and like SNK games, like was it Fatal Fury and then King of Fighters and things like that. But there's another game. I think it was. I'm not sure if it's SNK or Capcom. But it was a Samurai Showdown. I never really played that a lot, but it was kind of in the same sort of genre as those games. I think probably had a lot of the same people involved. And sometimes you play that, you would just do a move where at the end it would like cut their head off or like cut them in half or something. But whenever I played it, I didn't know what triggered that to happen, so it just randomly happened sometimes. You'd be playing it without any idea that was a feature, and then all of a sudden you'd cut someone's head off. That was always a good one.
Yeah, I think for me it was one of the first times I encountered a character with a special move, and that special move was like to backwards and hit, and it swung the sword round and chopped the head off.
Yeah,
So
nice.
I do agree with you though that the fighting games were great. Any game that you've got an opponent that you can fight 2-player was great back in the day. So you'd have your mates round and you'd play it with them, and you'd get bragging rights from winning. It all meant so much more back then than it does now.
The thing is, I was always really into my fighting games when I was growing up. I used to play fighting games with my mates all the time. And I always considered myself quite good at fighting games until we then had online play, and I'd play online. I'd just get destroyed. It's like, how are people this good? Like, you get hit once and then they would just juggle you and you'd never touch the ground again. You die. It's like, I used to think I was good at these games, but apparently I wasn't. I was just better than some of my friends.
Yeah, I remember that was the first time you got the games being streamed live from Korea and Japan, and these guys were experts. And it's the beginning of the esports kind of deal, weren't it? That was.
Remember that.
Crazy time. There's definitely a couple of questions that have been thrown up in the chat. I think Roger has asked his classic question that he always asks of asks of people when he's in the stream. Whereas I think Roger's asked
earlier, didn't he?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, Roger's just Roger from the Evercade Fans Hub. I think that's the new name. He's asked whether or not you have an Evercade, but I think you answered that.
Yeah, I think that came up, didn't it? You said you haven't got
the Evercade. I don't. I mean, I have everything on my PC, so I do have a PlayStation 4 behind me, and I had was it Super Console X not long ago, which had a ton of games on it. But I sent that away to somebody that didn't have one, because I just started using my PC instead for everything. So I just gave that away to a fellow retro gamer that I met online. He was quite happy with that.
Oh, that's nice.
We've got this thing. If you watch any of my latest videos, at the top it says "Retro Rockstars Play It Forward," and this is where I can drop a name or two. My good friends, Retro Arcade Music Man, and another friend, DKOG73. They came up with a sort of premise of playing it forward, and I met them, and then I heard this term "playing it forward," and I won something on their channel. And it played forward to me, and I wanted to play forward to somebody else. So that's why I gave my game system away to a friend online. So we could play some games.
Oh, excellent. No, I really like that idea. That's really cool.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to give things to people, obviously, but playing it forward just means helping out your fellow gamers, your fellow mates.
Yeah, I think Dorbs did something recently with that. I think he was at OLL with Tim Triangleface and Ryan last weekend, and I think he entered a competition to win a PS4, and I think he won it. You know, Dorbs is really lucky. If anybody wants Dorbs to play some bets for him, or pick some lottery numbers or something, I think Dorbs might win you something. But he's like, oh, I've won it. Oh, I'm going to donate that, and I think he's donated it to special effects.
Yeah, special effects charity. They had a presence at OLL as well. I think the contest was a raffle to win an Xbox Series X, but I think there's a runner-up prize for a PS4. So he got the PS4 and decided he was going to forward it on. So
so it's I very agree with that mentality, Tezz. Yeah, it's great where you can pay anything forward. It's should be done just to have a bit of a
it's just helping out your mate, really.
And definitely is a good charity that. Special effects, if anyone doesn't know, they sort of specialize in making peripherals to help people with disabilities be able to play games, and I just think that's a really good charity to be involved in, because I think especially for young children as well, I think growing up playing computer games was a really big, I think it's just a big part of everyone's childhood, really. You get to grow up playing games, and if you've got someone out there who maybe struggles to play games or isn't able to, and they're able to change it for them so that they can, I think that just has a really big impact on someone's life. So I think it's a really special charity to give something to. So
it's funny how you say that, because I could actually do with the link for that in real life. As I think I told you on on a private message, I've got rheumatoid arthritis, and this is one reason why I switched from playing the PlayStation 4 to playing retro games on the PC, because of the amount of buttons that I have to press. I can't successfully play a game like Call of Duty anymore effectively, or I can't control the mouse with my right hand anymore because of damage from rheumatoid arthritis. So I've had to become left-handed, and it's just easier to play retro games than it is all these new games. So that's one of the reasons why I'm in the community now. It's one of the reasons why I'm playing retro games now. It's my thing again.
Yeah.
Because I did enjoy playing PC games before. I was a massive PC gamer, Call of Duty, Grand Theft Auto, that sort of thing.
Mhm.
That was my deal up until about 10 years ago. Well, I say 10, yeah, about 10 years ago.
Excellent stuff. Well, I think that brings us to the end of the stream, but thanks very much for joining us. It's been great to have you on and getting to know you a bit and getting to know about YouTube Connect. And I hope everyone watching's enjoyed that and enjoyed some of the bits we were talking about in regards to, starting YouTube and a few bits and pieces. And been loving the chat tonight. There's some crazy comments in here.
Oh,
It looks like you're all just having fun amongst yourselves, I think.
Yeah,
While we're
I think,
chatting away.
I think there's definitely some sort of communication going on there about going to OLL next year.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to be us, Goldtooth Gaming, 16 Bits and Bobs, and a couple of other people sharing one room and one bed. I mean, this is
There
going
we
to be
go.
crazy. This is going to be
There we
this
go.
is getting off the hook now,
It is.
which is going to be
There we go.
amazing.
Yeah, make sure we get all the Tezz's details, and we'll pin it to the
Yeah,
comments. At the top of
There's
the
in the description. You've got a link to the YouTube channel if you want to go and check out Tezz's channel. Excellent.
Nice one, guys.
Yeah.
Cheers.
So yeah,
Right,
do
thanks for coming on.
people that are new to it, do head over, go and support them, and go and support YouTube Connect as well. There's there's lots of things that we can be doing in there. It's a great idea, so let's all jump behind it and get going.
Happy to have any small YouTuber come in, or any YouTuber, even if you're a big YouTuber and you decide you want to come and hang with the little guys. Pop by. But yeah, anybody's welcome. If you're a small YouTuber and you want a bit of advice, come drop by.
Oh yeah,
Great
don't
stuff.
forget.
And I was just about to say that. Okay. Don't forget, we're back again tomorrow at 8 for a additional special episode of Everchat, and we're going to be talking to Alistair Lowe, creator of Tapeworm, which is the current monthly free game. If you haven't played Tapeworm, go and play it. It is brilliant. It's really good. So we will be chatting with Alistair tomorrow about Tapeworm and all sorts of other things Evercade. So be sure to come by and check us out. Same time again tomorrow.
Excellent.
Right. That is all from us here at RGR. Thanks for watching, everybody. Good night.
See you later.
Thanks for having us, guys. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.